Chapter 9. The encyclical Quanta Cura of Pope Pius IX, condemning naturalism, liberalism, indifferentism, communism, and socialism. December 8th, 1864. The importance of this encyclical is really that it constitutes the preamble of the Syllabus, in which Pope Pius IX set forth a summary of the modern errors that he had condemned, or that had been formally condemned by his predecessors. It is a subject of special interest to us today. The stir that the publication of this document caused, even among Catholics, is well known. To recall to mind truths in an encyclical is passable, but to draw up a precise catalogue of condemned propositions is something else. The liberals' reaction to the Syllabus. The liberal Catholics reacted violently. For them, the Holy Father exaggerated. It was unacceptable. The Syllabus was not suitable to modern times, for the Pope did not take into account the society of the times and the evolution of ideas, etc. In short, they said exactly what the modernists and progressives say today about adaptation to the world, aggiornamento, etc. The Bishop of Orléans, His Excellency Dupanloup, became the spokesman of the discontented Catholics. The Pope wanted to clarify certain points, pronounce condemnations, yet the key is to know how to interpret them. In short, take some and leave some. And so the liberal Catholics were appeased. Bishop Dupanloup was not condemned, and this is what caused Pope Pius IX's attempt to rectify this situation to fail. By explaining away, interpreting, and seeking formulas in order to bypass the condemnations, the liberal Catholics succeeded in destroying the effects of these acts of the magisterium. The progressives and the modernists cannot bear to hear the name of the Syllabus. They are infuriated by it. They hold that the document is without authority, that it was an idea of Pope Pius IX, that it was never confirmed and, moreover, was never applied. But this is false. On the contrary, the Syllabus was confirmed by the bishops, by the popes, and, as we have seen, by Leo XIII in his encyclical Immortale Dei. The Syllabus therefore takes on a very great worth, and Pope St. Pius X, in his various writings, often reiterated in a very explicit manner the condemnation of the denounced errors. But, as Leo XIII was to observe, the popes were not heeded, and the evil has continued to spread. The encyclical Quanta Cura is very beautiful, for it exposes the situation as Pope Pius IX saw it, and it corresponds in an uncanny way to what the Church has known since Vatican II. It is frightening. Condemnation of naturalism in politics. Quote, "We, to the extreme grief of our soul, beheld a horrible tempest stirred up by so many erroneous opinions, and the dreadful and never enough to be lamented mischiefs which redound to Christian people from such errors. And we then, in discharge of our apostolic ministerial office, imitating the example of our illustrious predecessors, raise our voice. We condemned the monstrous and portentous opinions, which prevail especially in the present age, to the very great loss of souls, and even to the detriment of civil society, and which are in the highest degree hostile not only to the Catholic Church and to her salutary doctrine and venerable laws, but also to the everlasting law of nature engraven by God upon the hearts of all men, and to right reason, and out of which almost all errors originate." End quote. Pius IX confirms the same condemnation pronounced by Pope Gregory XVI, which we cited earlier. He continues, quote, "For you know well, venerable brethren, that at this time there are found not a few who, applying to civil intercourse the impious and absurd principles of what they call naturalism, dare to teach that the best form of society and the exigencies of civil progress absolutely require human society to be constituted and governed without any regard whatsoever to religion, as if this religion did not even exist, or at least without making any distinction between true and false religions." End quote. The false religions, the devil's invention. Nowadays, if one says that the other religions are false religions, the progressives are furious. They cannot bear to hear it. "Then you condemn all the other religions? Are all the other religions bad?" they ask accusingly. It is a visceral reaction on their part, and this reaction is in conformity with the fundamental principle of liberalism, that is, all religions are good. "You think that only the Catholic religion is good, and is able to do good in society. But consider the piety of the Muslims or the Buddhists," they say. The popes were not liberals. They remained firm in the faith, and always deliberately distinguished the true from the false religions. For from what spirit do the false religions come? Do they come from the Spirit of God, or do they come from Satan? If they are false, then they take their origin from the spirit of error, the spirit of lies, and the father of lies and of error is the devil. The false religions were invented by the devil expressly in order to separate entire peoples and entire countries from our Lord, and to impede them from becoming Catholic, and from hearing the truth. There is no doubt about it. It is thus that it is virtually impossible to convert the Muslims. Islam imprisons millions of souls in error. For 15 years at Dakar, I found myself in the midst of 3 million Muslims, 100,000 Catholics, and 400,000 animists. And if during these 15 years I saw the conversion of 10 Muslims, that was surely the maximum. I mean real conversions, the conversions from Islam to Catholicism. I don't mean to say that there was not a certain influence thanks to our schools, where we had enrollments of 10 to 15% Muslims. I didn't want a greater percentage, or else that would have imposed Islam on our schools. Once they are strong enough, they assert themselves and take control, and seek to convert others. When they are weak, they listen and keep silent. The young people in our schools certainly were influenced, and perhaps some of them desired baptism of desire. This is quite possible. But it is very difficult for a young man to convert practically to Catholicism, for he is banished from his family, and he knows that he risks being poisoned. Only university students succeed in converting because they are independent. They know their future is assured, so they no longer need their families and can leave for Europe when they can convert. But it is practically impossible to convert someone within his family. By inspiring the Islamic religion, the devil truly succeeded in preventing the conversion of millions of men. It was relatively easy to convert the Protestants. There were always many Protestants who converted before the Council. But now there aren't many of these conversions anymore. This is understandable because the Church no longer presents herself as an ideal the Protestants should desire, as the Church herself has become Protestantized. She now holds little attraction for them. Some Jews have converted, but there is a danger there, because it is not guaranteed that they have truly converted, or if they only do so in order to keep or facilitate their material interests or their position. It is very difficult to discern. Certainly, it is a fact that a number have converted.